This is the Math 7 video for adding and subtracting fractions. Alright, for adding and subtracting fractions, you need to find a common denominator. I'm going to use the method of finding the LCM that we saw in class. So for 6 and 15, you see here that I've listed out the common multiples. The first one that they have in common is 30. So we want to change 1/6 and 1/15 into fractions over a denominator of 30. So to get 6 over a denominator of 30, we're going to multiply by 5 to both the numerator and the denominator. To have 15 become over 30, we're going to multiply by the numerator and the denominator by 2. So 1 times 5 is 5 over 30 for that 1/6 fraction. For the 1/15 fraction, we would then have 2 over 30. Alright, for our first adding example, we have 8/11 plus 4/5. On this example, if you're looking at 5 and 11, we should know that our common multiple is going to be 55. You could also do that just by multiplying these two together. So we're going to multiply 8/11 by 5 over 5, because what we multiply the numerator by, we have to multiply our denominator by. And for 4/5, we're going to multiply that by 11 over 11. So 8 times 5, is 40 over 55 plus 4 times 11 is 44 over 55, which is going to give us a denominator still of 55. We're just adding the two top numbers. So that would give us 84. So now we need to reduce. We know that 55 can go into 84 once. And then to figure out what we have left over, we could subtract 55 from 84. And what's left over is 29. So we're going to put that back over 55. And we can't reduce that any further because 29 is a prime number that does not evenly divide 55. Let's go ahead and look at an example that has a negative. Remember from our song, we add the same signs and we take the difference of different signs. So now we know that we're going to be actually subtracting because we have a positive and a negative, and we need to find our common denominator. We have 5 and 10, so that one's pretty obvious that our common denominator is going to be 10. So I can leave our negative 9/10 alone. And I need to multiply 3/5 by 2 over 2 to convert it to a 10 for the denominator. So then I have 6/10 minus 9/10, because we're going to subtract because they have different signs. So it's going to give me a negative 3/10. And you can't simplify any further because 3 is a prime number. Alright. Here, if we look back at our foldable, we know when we have mixed numbers, we have to switch them back to improper fractions. So 2 times 3 is 6, plus 1 is 7, so we have 7/3 for our 2 and 1/3. 8 times 4 is 32, plus 1 is 33/4. From class, we know that the common denominator of 3 and 4 is 12. So we're going to multiply 7/3 by 4/4. And we're going to multiply 33/4 by 3/3. So 4 times 7 is 28/12. Plus 33 times 3 is 99/12. And now I'm going to leave my denominator, so it's going to remain 12. And I'm going to add this 28 and 99. 28 plus 99 is going to give me 127. then I know that 127 can be divided by 12 10 times, which is 120. So I have 7 left over, and it's going to go back over the 12. So my final answer is 10 and 7/12. All right, now let's try a subtraction problem. So again, our first step is going to be to convert from a mixed number to an improper fraction. So 2 times 6 is 12, plus 5 is 17, 6 minus 1 times 15 is 15, plus 9 is 24 fifteenths. So now I need a common denominator. Earlier in our slide, we saw that the common denominator between 6 and 15 is 30. So I'm going to multiply 17 6 by 5 over 5 and multiply 24 fifteenths by 2 over 2. 17 times 5 is 85 30ths. Minus 24 times 2 is 48 over 30. And again, with subtraction, we're not going to worry about our denominator. We know that that's going to remain 30. We're not going to subtract those two 30s. So all we want to do is subtract 85 and 48. And that gives us 37. We know 30 goes into 37 once, so we have a whole number of 1 with 7 remaining over 30. And that can't be simplified any further, so this is our final answer, 1 and 7/30. All right, for our last example, we have 7/8 minus 2 and 3/8. So we already have a common denominator, but we still need to change this 2 and 3/8 into an improper fraction. So I'm going to rewrite 7/8 down here. Keep my subtraction sign. 2 times 8 is 16, plus 3 is 19. So I have 19/8. So then I have 7 minus 19, because remember, even in subtraction, we keep our denominator the same. So it's going to remain as an 8. And 7 minus 19, so that gives us 12/8. And it's a negative because 19 is bigger and it has a negative in front of it. So 8 goes into 12 one time with a remainder of 4 over 8. And don't forget your negative right here, because it was negative here, so it needs to be negative here. And we can reduce 4/8 down, so we have -1 and 1/2, because 4 is half of 8. So this is going to be our final answer right here. Video question 1. Solve 2/3 plus 5/8. A, 7/8, B, 21/48, C, 7/16, or D, 1 and 7/8. Question 2. Solve 9/15 minus 15/30. A, -2/30, B, -1/10, C, 2/30, or D, 1/10. And question 3, solve 4/7 plus 3 and 1/2. A, 3 and 1/14, B, 4 and 1/14, or C, 57/7.